welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. So at some point, it stops being about decisions and starts being about who you build this around, who you surround yourself with. So let's talk about people. Let's talk about hiring. Let's talk about culture, which is an important part of building a business. So to start us with, what do you look for when hiring somebody?
I'll start with that. I'll jump in.
You finally get it, brother. Let's go, Rick.
It's the same thing. I always thank every employee. We get an email about their anniversary, 1 year, 5 year, and I thank them for the same thing every single time, for their loyalty, for their commitment to excellence, and their hard work. I look for those three things when I'm hiring, because that's the three things money can't buy. I could teach you flooring. I could teach you what we do. I can't teach you how to show up on time, hard work. I can't teach you how to put in the hours and work hard. I can't teach you how to be loyal, and I can't teach you how to be commitment to excellence. I can't teach that.
There's got to be.
So that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
What about you, Max? I'm curious because I would assume that in the music industry, you're probably hiring people different than we will hire on this side of things.
It's so hard.
He's like, where do I start, bro?
You know what it is? I have, music is such a niche business that 99% of the people walking this earth just can't grasp it. No. And even to speak on my publishing administration company, there's not a place where you can, grow your skills in it. So really, the number one thing that I look for is someone just that has the attitude that they'll do anything. They'll take direction. They'll shovel shit. They'll do that. Because that's what I'm like. I'll literally go get Dr. Dre's coffee right this second.
Yeah.
Right this second. Bro, you need a toilet clean. You need your dry cleaning. What do you need to do? And just that attitude, if you have that, there's really no job that can't be done, especially combined with the commitment to excellence and loyalty, all those core values, just the willingness to just do anything and just be a total utility player.
And Danny, would you say the bar is set different when you're hiring leaders versus when you're hiring other employees?
Yeah, it is, but I want to peel back just a little bit, right? For me, the most important thing is, who are your partners? Honestly, bro, because I can't do everything, right? There's a lot of areas where I suck at. I learned that I'm gonna drink this lemonade, and this lemonade tastes horrible, but you know what I'm saying? This is where I'm at. This is who I am. This is what I'm great at. This is my niche. I need to surround myself with really good people, right? So we come together like the Avengers. And then once we have that stability with partners, then we can start hiring the right people to come in here and add to the flavor, add positivity, add love, loyalty, commitment, effort, hard work, culture, the heritage of what we're trying to build, right? The one thing that I have learned is we're Ace Renovations, for example, we're a growing business. Right. So one thing we've learned is you hire fast, but fire faster. Right. If you hire someone and they're not working out, you got to cut that. You can't hold on because he's a good family man. He's a good dad. Right. If he can't do his job, you got to cut that immediately. A lot of people don't do that. They hold on because they have heartstrings or whatever his situation is at home. It sucks, but it's business, and if it ain't working, it ain't working. I gotta cut you. I love you. Sinaloa. Bye-bye. Get out of here.
What about you, Sean? Do you think there's a different way of thinking of hiring a normal or a regular employee versus a leader?
I'm pretty pragmatic about where I hire, and what I do is there's 4 basic personality traits. There's dominant, which all of us are probably in this room, and there's expressive, and then there's analytical, and there's amiable. And those are basically the 4 buckets that people fall into. Now, all of us are probably in this room more dominant on the dominant category, but we have some other category traits that are good. And so I'd say to anybody in my team, when we're looking at our human capital, right, is that you have to know what job requires in what personality traits to hire that right person. Because, for out in the field, doing construction is one thing, but when you're hiring like mid-level people in your enterprise, it's so important to understand that I need an expressive person because he's going to lead a sales team. Right. I need a dominant person because he's going to be my GM, right? Mm-hmm. I need a really good admin, so they have to have some amiable traits, So know those categories, study it, and be like the only thing I really do good in my life is I hire good people. That's the only thing I'm good at. Everybody else is better at everything in my enterprise than me. Yeah. But I know like how to find the right people, and it's a science. It really is. You have to know those categories and what you're looking for. So that's,
because you need to know what their skill is, but you also need to know what their communication style is, so you know how to pair people together and how to communicate across. Because each one of those categories is going to be different communication.
And like Rick's saying is like the character is a big thing with me, and the best leaders, to go off of that, the best leaders, everybody says, okay, well, I need a dominant trait to be a good leader. I have to be heavily weighted in this dominant trait. Well, believe it or not, the best leaders are leading the dominant trait category, but they have equal on the other three, because you have to have those other three to be a solid leader, period. And so everybody says, oh, well, the best leaders are going to be all in the dominant category, 90%. No, the best leaders are going to be equally balanced in those areas, maybe dominant a little bit more. That's all.
I want to piggyback off that. We have our existing managers, and every new manager we hire, we have them take a DISC test. So it's an online test. We have them take a DISC test that gives us exactly those categories. Mm-hmm. And then we've taken the existing team's DISC test, so the leader of a team, and then everybody that reports to that person's DISC test, so we can see how it all meshes together. Wow. So I know exactly that's really good to know that, because the position that you're hiring for, the type of leader you need, for instance, for us, an installation manager of a big location is very different than a general manager. A general manager needs to be more analytical. Right. They need to be able to work more with the different teams, be more analytical, where an installation manager needs to be that D, needs to be that driver or sheer force. This got to get done right now. It's got to get done right. So you want to get the right chess piece to put it in the right place.
Amen.
Yeah, that DISC training, if everybody in the table hasn't taken it before, that DISC training is great. Amazing.
It's free.
I've done
it's
it
online.
before. It actually kind of opens your eyes, even just in relationships that you have in normal life, because you start realizing that everybody has different ways of communicating, because that's their trade. So once you start figuring out this is how this trade likes to be communicated with, things kind of work out better.
Play to people's strengths.
Exactly. That's the perfect way of seeing it. Yeah. So what routines or systems actually matter when it comes to people and your employees?
Routines?
Yeah.
I could take that, since Rick doesn't want to. So I built a lot of to multitask in different businesses and different entities in my life, I have to have like a driven process for each entity, and I have to have, everybody asks, how do you do all this? And it's basically through process and good people, right? So everybody reports to me daily, weekly, what's going on, and without processes and that really level of education on what I want and what I expect and what the team expects process, you cannot run multiple entities or a good multi-employee company without having processes, period. And that's where that discipline comes in. We were talking about earlier, where an entrepreneur is talented, but he doesn't have that foundation. You have to have that foundation to understand that. It's just like the sports guy that's got really good talent, but doesn't know how to play with 5 other players, Yeah. And so it's important to have that process in there, imperative.
He said everything I was going to say.
I love it. So I'll add to that. What I used to do exactly what you said, super focused on process. Now I changed it up over the last 8 years, maybe 8 to 10 years, on goals, company goals, leaders' goals and KPIs that line up with the company goals.
Right.
Everybody that reports those leaders, KPIs that line up to that leaders to line up to the company. And then all 1-minute meetings, holding them all accountable on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like that pyramid. You got our business installers here, their KPIs match up the installation manager's KPIs to the general managers, the senior operations manager, and it all lines up. Because you can't have everybody report to you if you have 200-300 employees. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
But I could look at 10 different KPI reports and know exactly how the company's going.
So Rick, for the people at home that are watching this and they're wondering what a KPI is, what
Key
is a KPI?
performance indicators. So a KPI is how you measure somebody's performance. You know, there's a goal. Well, you set a goal. Let's say the goal is to get all installations done this week without any failures. A KPI measures that goal. So how do we measure it? You know, how many jobs we did versus how many complaints, how many failures.
Is a great way to manage a large scale operation, right? Because you can have the goals, but what are your flags if you're doing good or you're not doing good? So that's where the KPIs really come. It's a great book. I forgot. I think I sent to you the other day, but I forget what the name is.
There's a lot of really good books out there now.
Yeah.
Really quickly, I just want to take a moment to speak directly to the viewers out there. It feels like there are a lot of things, because keep in mind, I'm at this table. And I myself am finding myself to understand that I don't understand the realm in which these men are speaking. And I'm catching myself needing to learn, but I'm putting my own situation into how I can see myself developing into their situations, okay? So right now I'm in a space where even I may be in a different realm than you are, that you are watching. I make maybe 7 figures, close to 8 figures, okay? Someone who makes 5 or 4 or maybe 6, you are still proud of yourself, okay? And when you go into a realm where you are trying to find where you can relate to people, okay? We are all humans, like Sean said, there's billionaires out there. There are people who, but sitting right beside me, are making probably 5 to 10 times as much as I make a year, okay? I'm still finding ways that I can relate to what they're saying, and we are all in different elements of work. Every day we wake up thinking of different things, but we have the same motive: family, faith, okay, and finance. And there's different ways that we can find ourselves relating to what we're trying to do. When he gives us a question, we all have different answers, but it kind of leads to the same thing, and that's just being successful in whatever realm of success we have. So I don't want anyone who's watching right now to feel discouraged if you feel like you cannot relate. Find how you can relate and how you can implement these ideas into your structure. Because if you have a clothing brand, you probably don't relate to anything that the hell we're saying right now, okay? But how can you implement his work ethic, his work ethic, his work ethic, his work ethic, even Angel's and mine? Okay, and how you can start implementing it into your life. So I just want to really quickly, while we're kind of in the middle of all this, to say, if you feel like you're detaching yourself, reattach yourself and find how you can really implement this into your life and become the best person that you can be, so you can end up being someone who considers themselves fitting at a table like this. And that's just all I wanted to say.
Well said. Very well said. Everybody clap it up. Everybody clap it. Very well said.
Thank you.
So just to piggyback of that, so just think about this. All of these successful gentlemen here on the table, they have tools at their disposal that you can add to your toolbox. So just because you're not in real estate, you're not in flooring, you're not in renovations, in the music industry, all of those tools you can still utilize, whether you're in a business and your personal life, with personal relationships at work, to get a promotion. They're just tools that you're learning and adding to your toolbox. So just remember that. And I think this is a perfect time to take a quick little break before we go to our next segment. So thank you for making it to this part of the video.
What's one piece of advice that stuck with you guys over the years from maybe an older businessman or somebody when you guys first got started that may have changed the way that you look at business?
Necessarily. Well, I guess my dad's a businessman. He's older, but something that my dad taught me was probably the greatest lesson that I can ask for. It totally governs every decision I've ever made. and it's the satisfaction of a job well done. And like, if you're gonna do something, you might as well do it right. Otherwise, why do it at all? You're wasting your time, everybody else's time. Like, you know.
The one thing, it wasn't from a business owner. It wasn't from anyone I knew in particular. It was from one of my coaches in high school. He told me, Danny, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Anything you do. Because everybody starts off with motivation. Everybody starts off hard, right? But when it starts to get hot, when it starts to get ugly, right, people crumble, right? And then that motivation is gone, right? So at the end of the day, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I plan on finishing my life strongly, bro. Let's go.
100%.
Good.
Okay?
That's a good one.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back. We're about to start our next segment. Values matter, but the numbers keep the doors open. So let's talk about something that you're all gonna love. Let's talk about money, but let's talk about money honestly, right? So here's the first question. So some of the viewers out there may not be in a position that you gentlemen are. So if you are somebody out there that only has $1,000 but wants to do something, they want to start a business, they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to start making their life better in some type of way, what is a piece of advice you would tell them to do within that constraint of $1,000? Max, we'll start with you.
I mean, it all is relative to whatever business they're in.
Right.
So
So let's go with music since that's your industry. You're
whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
So in music, I would probably say invest in content creation, invest in some ads for that content creation, really like creating the product and really establishing yourself as a brand, because I mean, nothing's going to happen overnight. You're not just going to like, you know, there's always exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, especially given, you know, those numbers that I said where like most songs on Spotify have 0 to 100 plays, really just establishing your brand and investing in the actual product, which may be, you know, spending a couple $100 on creating a song, maybe spending a couple $100 on creating some merch to align with that song, and a couple $100 to promote that, and maybe do that a couple times, because it's gonna take a lot of at bats to start getting the type of progress that you want in the music business. So probably start small and create as many products as possible and promote them.
Here's what I would like to say. The day and age that we're in right now today, knowledge is free. Discipline is free. Your actions and what you do in the day are free. Are you gonna do 100 push-ups today, or are you not gonna do 100 push-ups today? Making those decisions, ultimately free. You can go on YouTube right now and learn a whole new career in the matter of a day to a week. It's about how you implement it. So all that didn't cost a single dollar. That costed maybe $29 for your internet service. Okay.
You can go to the library and it's also free.
Exactly. So then once you have that implemented, don't spend a dollar until you completely understand what you're going to invest in. A lot of people spend that $1,000 into a company that they are not even going to be remotely into in, let's say, even 30 days sometimes, sadly, to 6 months to a year to 5 years. So then once you establish exactly what you want to do, I think the first thing that you put towards is your infrastructure and how you're going to lay that out. Granted, I don't have 300 employees. Granted, I don't have multi-businesses that are generating, crazy figures. But what I would like to understand is how I'm going to do this, what my plan is, creating a business model, because that is a living document and it grows with you. You know, my Ronnie Banks LLC, I made that business plan when I was 15 years old. And the way that thing has grown, obviously it's not the same exact document, but my model, how I built that, has grown, and I invested into my model first. And that model grew to now I'm involved in many different businesses. I'm involved in different structures. And I mean, not to say that you're going to invest $1,000 into your business plan, but first focus on what you're going to invest in, because that's what people are just like, I'm going to spend $1,000 on this clothing brand and have no idea how to run one. Right. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I would jump in and say, save those $1,000 and really educate yourself in what department you're trying to jump into, right? A lot of people, you know, it sucks and it's sad to say, but a lot of people, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to do this, right? And they jump into it and 6 months, a year down the line, it just folds, right? That's because they didn't, one, is it your passion? Two, what do you know about it? Three, what are you willing to sacrifice for it, right? Four, I would say you have to educate yourself on what it is you're trying to jump into. A lot of people don't educate themselves. For me, thankfully for me, I was in an industry where I learned over 20 years to perfect, to listen, to gain intel, to work. I worked many hours overtime without getting paid. But because I was learning, bro, I was like, you know, before I jump, before I make that leap, I want to take all this knowledge, right? I'm willing to work 14, 15, 18 hours of just free work just to learn. So I would tell people, man, save that money, educate yourself before you make that decision.
Awesome.
What would you guys do with $1,000?
Yeah,
I wanna know
I
what
like
the
to
hell
hear
you guys are
the
gonna do with
millionaires in the room.
$1,000.
What will they
I'll tell
do?
you, I'll start with that. For me, I love what all you guys are saying, investing in yourself first. So if I wanted to learn a business, and let's say I say his pest control business, and I really wanted to learn that business, I'd take that $1,000 and give me time, and I'd offer to go work for free for him, even if he doesn't want to hire me.
Exactly.
So I want to work for him. I want to learn the business from somebody who's doing it.
Get that intel.
Because otherwise, I'm just dreaming. I don't know anything about pest control, so I need to work for him. He might not need a new employee. I'm going to keep bugging him until he hires me, even if I got to do it for free.
The $1,000 goes towards food.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that people don't really value, and that you need to have an understanding that when you don't have millions or you're not already in a position that you're wealthy, you have these businesses making money for you, your asset is time. Yeah. So invest that time
100%.
appropriately, like what you're suggesting, so that you can get to that level. And then once you start making the money, then you can start spending the money to buy your time back. But until then, that's your asset.
Yeah. I mean, for the young people out there, I love what you guys said. $1,000 isn't shit. Get a job and work. But for the young people that are out there, I think they need to understand that there is money and wealth in almost every industry that they get a job in. You think about the people that you're working for in whatever job you're doing, they are the people that you should aspire to be and be better than them. And so a lot of people say, hey, like the industries that we're in, Rick, I mean, I just met you, but we're not in sexy industries, you know, but everybody needs us.
Right.
And that is pivotal, right? I mean, so when you get out of school, everybody wants to be, like for men anyway, they want to be a firefighter, they want to be a police officer, they want to be a doctor or lawyer. That's fine, those are all great. But the wealthiest people in the world, they hire all those people to work for them.
Yeah. 100%.
I want the A-plus players. And so just put that in perspective. You know, the people that were, again, D students, C students in school are hiring the A students in school to work for them eventually. And so if that's encouragement for anybody that, you know, hasn't, you know, really leveled up in academia and school, the wealthiest people in the world, you'll see that they weren't leveled up in academia for that instance. And so I feel like any industry that you jump into and you're getting knowledge and work experience from is a huge learning curve for the people out there that, you know, don't know what they're doing. The biggest demographic of help needed in society today are men and women between the ages, not necessarily women, because they have a lot more together than men do at this age, but between 18 and like 25, 26 years old, these men are lost, you know? I mean, they just don't know what to do, you know? And so I encourage them just to make sure they understand that there is money everywhere in any industry. I mean, I didn't come out of high school saying I'm going to be an exterminator. It made me a multi-millionaire. And yeah, it's not sexy, but I don't care. Everybody needs me.
Yes.
Everybody needs me. Every house, every building, every business. I mean, they need me in
every park,
every country,
every park.
everybody.
Seriously.
Yeah.
My business touches everybody. Your business, almost
Every building has a floor.
Exactly.
Every
And
single
so-
building.
Hey, really quick, I want to piggyback on this the academic part of things, because I feel like someone who came from dropping out of high school, Rick saying he didn't even experience a high school, or to whatever extent. I have a feeling there's a difference though, because there's people who are going to be like, yeah, like there's probably kids that are going to watch right now, and who are like, yeah, F school, you know. But there's a difference of the avenue and the path you're going to take. And are you leaving school because you're gonna implement something that you have a dream towards? Or are you gonna go leave school to get high and go eat Wingstop and just say like, oh yeah, school isn't for me? There's a difference of what Rashawn is saying, and I want you guys who are like trying to make an excuse for yourself, do not allow that to be an excuse. You need to have, if you're gonna try to say, hey mom, hey dad, I have a dream and with a plan, and this is what I'm going to do, and I don't feel like my time allocation allocates for school because I'm going to educate myself into something different and something that's going to elevate me past being an employee for someone. Then that's when I feel that's when that comes into play, because there's kids who are going to say, you know what, Sean McCauley told me, leave school. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't go get high and go to Wingstop. We're telling you have a plan and a structure, because I myself left school, but I had a plan.
So, son, before you send me this clip, listen to what he just said. All right. So, yeah, Justin. All right. So we've talked about all the W's that you guys have had, but let's talk about some losses, right? What is the biggest money mistake you made early? Everybody share a story. What is the biggest money mistake you've made early on?
Oh, come on, Sean.
Danny.
I gotta hear
Danny.
I gotta hear you, bro. I gotta hear this one.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yeah, I know you can hit some curves, dude.
I have, I mean, I have to say though, I'm a measured risk guy. I've been like that all my life. I was kind of born that way. And so, although I do risk things, it's all measured in my head. And I've always been that kind of guy. So I haven't had huge losses, but I've had a lot of failures, and, my time on this place in the business world has been really predicated on when I make a mistake, making sure that, again, I don't make that thing twice. And then, like you're saying, Danny, I cut the umbilical cord quick, and it's hard to do, but I mean, my failures have been relatively mitigated, I guess is what I'm saying. But by far, yeah, I mean, here's the unknown in this business world is that the human capital portion of our whole life, these people are the ones that fail us the most, period.
Yes, yes.
And so if you can sharpen your skills on, because if anywhere I failed the most is with people and making sure that we manage them and steward our human capital piece right. And so any time that you can get your human capital in order and understand how to manage and lead people, it's gonna be better, because I think I failed the most in that arena. So
I wanna try to bring it to a scale of, sometimes people consider a loss, us sitting at this table, a loss is like multiple figures, right? Or like a business that we invested a lot of money into that didn't go well. But sometimes let's say there's a 20-year-old kid who has maybe $1,000 and he's been wanting to buy this camera. Or there's this girl he's trying to impress and she wants this expensive bag. Okay, and a lot of the time we put the impressions over what our like perception, and you want to impress this girl or you want to impress these people with this new car, so you put your last $2,500 on a down payment on a vehicle you can't afford, and that's a loss. Because at the end of the day, if that kid with the if he would have had the camera a little bit earlier, and he met someone like this who needed some kind of extra work, and he could have been hired on the spot, but he didn't have the camera, so you don't get the job. And I feel like that takes a big part in losses. Like us, we have bigger losses that people consider catastrophic in their head. Right. You know, like you invest 100 grand or invest any kind of figures into this business and it just falls and you're like, oh man, I'll learn from it. But people can't even comprehend putting 100 grand into a business in general. So someone who has that $2,000 and they want to put it toward a down payment on a Mustang or on this big extravagant vacation they take on a girl who's really going to be with you for a long period of time, which we've experienced, is someone who's okay with the highs and the lows. They don't care about that one date that, you know, may have been a good experience, but it's not a life experience. I want the girl who's going to have a good life and not care about the one date at Nobu. You know what I mean? So those kind of things, just to bring it a little bit down back to the gravel, is, you know, losses comes in all shapes and sizes, and a loss is with anything. It comes with making the right decision. And if you're noticing that the thing that you're going to invest in, whether it's a girl or a car, isn't the right one, and you know down deep in your gut, man, do the right thing that's going to build you. Because as you build yourself, everything follows. And I told you that. Yeah. I've told you that. I've told you that. As you build yourself as a platform, not even on social media, as a man, you build yourself, everything that comes after that follows you.
Hey, I'm gonna jump on that one real quick. But to me, some of the biggest losses that I've had were on decisions I took too long to make. Right? Study long, study wrong. Right? So like, naturally for me, I'm the guy that pulls out the guns and just bah, 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 bah. Right? Like this guy is a sharpshooter. And he's waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm the guy that just pulls out the guns and just start pow, 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 pow. I took 100 shots. I probably hit 50 times. And this guy is waiting for that one. So some of the losses that I've made is where I didn't make a decision. I didn't risk it to get the biscuit, right? Sometimes you can't overthink yourself, because you're gonna overthink yourself out of a good possibility or a good opportunity, bro. Sometimes you just gotta roll the dice, take the shots. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you don't.
You know, for me, and I like what you're speaking to the younger generation, because thinking back, the biggest losses are not, for me, is not trying hard enough when I was younger. So once you learn you failed, you lost here, go again, go again, go again. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Those losses become wins eventually. Yeah. But if you give up because you lost that $1,000, you got nowhere to go.
That's a wrap.
You know, so you got to keep pushing.
Yeah. And sometimes, like for me, and you know, I don't own a business. Well, I guess I do own a business. I own this business, right? The Risk of Ambition. But I have a W-2, and I had to make decisions about jobs that sometimes were not glamorous, or sometimes positions that might not have been where I wanted to be, but I knew that was going to put me in a position in the future. And so sometimes you choose not to take that job because it's not the place you want to be in now, but that's just what's going to get you there. That's the next step to get you there. So you got to think of those as well. You know, you're like, oh, I don't want that job, but that job pays twice of what you're making. Or yeah, but I don't want to be cleaning toilets, but it's paying twice of what you're making. So that's, to me, a loss, right? Max, I'm curious what you have to say about what's a big loss for you, especially early on.
Well, I think the biggest loss is not money, it's time. So wasted time,
I agree,
is the worst, because, you know, money is going to come and go, but one thing about time is that it's gone forever. And so I
can't buy it back.
No, you can't buy it back. So I think that makes me prioritize time over spending money on this, but also like, you know, bringing the wrong people, hiring the wrong people. And honestly, I was enjoying so much listening to these guys talk about how to hire people and what metrics to look for, because at the end of the day, like, I'm a relatively new boss slash employer, you know, within the last 5 years, I would say 5-6 years. And I'm always trying to, you know, refine how I am as a boss. Cause I've always been like an influential person and a leader in my own respect. But when you're really like employing people and their lives are in your hands, just knowing the little intangibles on what to do, you know, is the tough one.
No, that's a great one. I think that ties it back to what you were saying earlier. Like, especially if you're a male between the age of 18 and 26, like you were saying, if you are that person, it is hard sometimes because you want to be doing these other things, the social pressure of it. But your best asset again is your time. So the way you spend your time between those years it could influence the way your life ends. So really
Sean hit the
making,
nail on the head.
yeah.
Work, get a job, learn a skill, learn a trade. If you want to learn this man's business, go work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Work for somebody where you want to learn a job and a skill. Yeah. I love what you said there because that's so true. Get a job.
So here's an interesting question, okay? So if a core revenue stream in your business ends tomorrow, what's your first move?
I'll take that. So I've lived my life on hedging, and I don't want to get too crazy with all these terms, but I mean, hedging, for instance, I was heavily weighted in the service sector, and I decided to hedge the revenues there and the success I had there into other entities, other functions.
Let me interrupt you for 1
what's
second.
hedging? So
Let's explain hedging for us that don't understand what that means.
So hedging means basically you're not putting everything in one basket. I mean, for a layman's term. Yeah, so I like hedging my life in general. So when one sector of my businesses are down because of an economy or whatever, then other ones are usually picking up for them. So, I mean, it's hard to do that. It turns into this, again, multitasking piece, but hedging what you do, and I mean, Ronnie and I have talked about this in the past, you know, I mean, hedging what you do into other sectors of business, I think is the number one thing people don't think about nowadays. It's a natural gravitation for successful entrepreneurs to go into real estate. And it should be. Real estate owners, like I was talking to people earlier, they're the wealthiest people in the world. And so everybody should have a piece of that. But hedging for me has been pivotal because when one sector's down, another one picks up for it. So
pay attention to that. Sean McCauley just gave you guys a gem. For those of you that are trying to figure out if you have any investment funding, where to put those investments, he just gave you the answer in 2 words: real estate. So if you have something that you're trying to put into, you feel like you're in the middle of business and you understand the KPIs and the hedging and the funds, and you're trying to figure out and you have no real estate, there's your answer, my friend.
And if you're at home saying like hedging, what are you talking about? Like I gotta go to my job that I hate or whatever that is. Get a side gig. That's hedging. You have another option.
side hustle, right?
A side hustle, that is hedging. So not putting all your eggs in one basket, that's what the game is about. That's the secret sauce. So we're gonna take a quick break before we go into our next segment. Thank you for sticking with us and stay tuned. These guys are gonna continue to drop gems, so don't miss the ending. Guys, I got a question for you guys. So if 100 years from now, somebody Googles you, what is something that you guys want to be there? Not your resume, not like all the business stuff you've done, the human thing. what will be the thing you want people to see when they Google you 100 years from now?
For me, it would be somebody that helped others. Be remembered by somebody that actually helped other people improve their lives.
That is a great answer. Yeah.
Same for me. My main focus has always been my family, my kids, my wife. So if I want someone to look me up, it's not just seeing me, it's seeing me as a family man and everything that I built around my family.
Does that change more over time as you gotten older? Like what the answer would have, or the answer would have been versus maybe 20 years ago, 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago would have been just me. I wouldn't have abs.
Same thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
They looked me up on Google,
Yeah.
have abs on me, and that's all I cared about.
Right.
It absolutely changes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
right.
You know, as you get older, you realize, especially if you've done the right things for yourself,
Right.
you realize you get more out of helping others.
Right.
And you know, Warren Buffett said it really well. It's really powerful to, when you make it, you made all this money. It's a lot more powerful when you give it away.
100%.
Give it away is not easy to do.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Well, I'll let you guys to your game. All right. Welcome back. Let's get on to our next segment. So everything we talked about into this point, it was built in a certain era, but that era is changing rapidly, especially nowadays. So let's get into it on what it looks like. What does the future look like for your industries and just in general? But before we go there, let's start with this question. Oftentimes, and we kind of touched this already a little bit earlier, oftentimes college is sold as a fix to wealth, right? That's the path to get to wealth. But is it bait and switch? And if you were 18 today, would you choose to go to college, or would you tell your kids to go to college, with AI taking a lot of these jobs rapidly?
Did you go to college?
No, I dropped out of high school.
You go to college?
Not that I advocate for it.
None of us went to college. That's a sign. No. No.
I mean, the reality, the grim reality is that a lot of kids go to college for two reasons: to party and to move out of their parents' house. Unfortunately, but not to take away from the life experience, because at that stage in your life, you're growing so much and you're learning and you're establishing relationships. So I don't want to undervalue that. But sometimes, and I think we can all relate, it pays more to just get to it and figure out all the mistakes and refine.
You know, I'll add to that. I have 3 kids, and I didn't even go to high school, but I put all my 3 kids to college. So, but if I were to do it myself, I think your question was, I go work for that man, or I go work for somebody that's making a lot of money, because I know I'm going to get there faster. If I go directly to work for that person, bust my ass, work really hard, and learn that industry, I'd probably go work for him, because this is the wave of the future. So technology, AI, social media, that's probably what I would do. And I'm not saying college isn't great, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. I put 3 kids through college, but for me, I'd go right that path, right to the source of where I want to be.
I'm at a point where it's about, we have the advantages, like you had the advantage of being able to make the decision to put them through or not. If my daughters or my son decide to tell me they want to go to college, first I'm going to say, well, what are you going to study? Because you're not going to go to college to study this, and then you're going to end up wanting to do that. Which, if that's the life, if that's the path that they lead and they end up finding and creating something in their own, that's their life. But if I'm in charge of putting the funding behind it, I just want some sort of plan and structure. And I understand having fun and things like that. And my idea of fun may be different. Me starting my business and generating this life was my fun. Yeah. And that may not be my daughter's idea of fun. They're all cheerleaders, elite level cheerleaders at their age, by the fact. And if that's what they want to do, you know, my daughter, she learned how to do her first back walk over, the move is called. She said, Dad, I want to be a cheerleader the rest of my life, and I want to go to college and be a cheerleader. And I said, you know what? That's an awesome goal. That'd be super great. And now, me being a dad who has resources, friends with money, I'm now in the position where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to open up a gym so my daughters can live their life dream, and they're going to end up being cheerleaders for the rest of their life, whether it's doing it, teaching it, or implementing those skills. They're going to have the resources and the access to do it because daddy.
That's beautiful. I'm curious, you, Danny, because I know you have a daughter that just started college. So I'm curious to hear your take on it.
I never went to. I went to City College. You know, did about a year and a half. It just wasn't for me. You know, staying inside of a building and listening to. My heart was always outside, right? I had a kid when I was 15, so the only thing that was in my mind was making money, providing for him, right? To teach him, to just make sure he had everything he needed. So I told my daughter, if we're going to school, we got to go to school for something that's going to be useful, right? Like business management. You know, we're going to be a lawyer or you know, something in that department where you want to go to school where it multiplies what you're trying to do with your future. It's hard for me too, though, because I didn't go to college, right? Just school just wasn't for me, and I'm with Rick on this one. It's hard, but I also think that there's a lot of benefits to going to school. The socializing, the learning, some kind of education, the people you're around, the network you're building. There are some people that you meet at school that, you know, they may not, or you may not be in a department, but they might join a department where it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? So I think that's a really big thing, man. But for my daughter Bella, she's going to school for business management. You know, the whole goal is for all my kids is to be your own boss, start your own business, right? Cultivate something for yourself, work for yourself.
Yeah, good. Well, I don't want to beat up on school because we all done that, and I'm learning how to learn. I think is an important trait. And I think school does that. But I do want to say one thing because one thing caught me about wealth and wealth and being rich and being wealthy. I want to explain how people don't understand the difference because there's a big difference, right? So you can go to school and be rich or wealthy. And you can be an entrepreneur and be rich or wealthy. But the difference between those two is that being rich is like being able to afford stuff. And being wealthy is being able to afford stuff without working. And so...
Wait, say that again for the people on the...
Going over some heads.
Yes.
Fire over here.
Yeah.
Sean.
And so, I mean...
Sean the Don right here. Let's go.
So people don't understand that. You know, I mean, we should all aspire to be wealthy, not rich.
Yes.
Being rich is great. You know, movie stars are rich. Sports stars are rich. But they never build true wealth. And what people should know is that there's a substantial difference between the two. And building wealth is really what, you know, generational wealth, how generational wealth happens. So,
That's great. What do people mostly misunderstand how AI is taking real jobs and how that's going to change the workforce or is already changing it? And do you agree that we're currently in an AI wave?
So I want to jump on this one, please. So, man, AI is taking a lot of jobs, right? What do you call those jobs? You know, they're like
Analytic or
you know what I mean? Something
Software
programmer, software, freaking
programming.
It's even a paralegal. All no, seriously,
Taking lawyers' jobs.
taking so many jobs.
I fire my lawyers.
I'm in the blue collar district. I'm in the blue collar industry, right? Roofing, framing, renovations, contractor work, and what's sad right now is there is a really big gap of kids that don't want to work with their hands.
But that's the safest move.
It is a really big, scary gap. right? Like right now, the biggest thing right now for apartments, let's say, there's a lot of maintenance guys that there's holes there that people don't want to go and work with their hands. So they call companies like Ace Renovations to say, hey, can we borrow 2 or 3 of your guys for the next month, 2 or 3 months? Because we put the ads out there, we can't hire anyone, and the guys that we hire don't have a clue what they're doing. They'll lie on their resume, but they get here and instead of helping the property, they create problems for the property, right? So my whole premises of this is I want to bring the awareness that you can make a great living working with your hands. Right now, there's a lack of plumbers.
HVAC.
There's a lack of HVAC. There's a lack of roofers. There's a lack of electricians right now. That is crazy to me. Right? You talk, what blows my mind is I talk to these young kids, 18, 19, 20, 22 to 26 years old, like, and you talk to them about blue collar work and they're like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to, sell my mom's antiques, or I'm trying to sell cars on the side, which is there's no problem with that though, dude. But I really believe that the next wave of millionaires are going to be in the blue collar industry, right? Because there's none there. Right.
Because you can be in HVAC right now, be in the top of your industry, making $250,000 in a heartbeat without even owning your own business.
So for a quick second, let's think about it. Uber, they came in, they pretty much killed the taxi, the cabs, right? But what's happening in San Francisco and now spreading to LA and spreading
Waymo.
to Waymo.
It's killing Uber.
They're self-driving vehicles. So what's going to happen to all these people that depend on their hedge, their side jobs, which is Uber, right? And in some cases, it's sad because some guys work permanently with Uber. They depend on that. And that, in the next 5 years, Uber's going to be gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Uber will still be there. It just won't have any more human employees.
Exactly. So yeah,
a big understanding of when people understood if their job or their work was essential or not was COVID.
Yeah.
And you found out if people needed your service or not.
All of a sudden, the garbage man became real important.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah.
100%.
Wow.
Toilet paper became important.
I love it too.
Yeah, right.
I was like, how much are you wiping your eyes?
No, so but back to one thing though. What I would tell, I don't know the amount of knowledge, but if a young kid came to me and says, I want to go to college, cool. But make sure if you're going to college that job or career or path you're going in is going to be here the next 15, 20, 30 years. Because AI is coming for a lot of your jobs.
Hope you're listening.
100%.
Yeah. So, Max, I'm curious, how is AI changing music in real dollars?
Oh my God.
Ooh, I know.
So,
bro.
This is all kind of happening like actually very recently because industry-wide, people have been completely freaking out about AI. And it's really the same exact thing that happened when Napster came around and MP3s came around. And it's really like when I say they're freaking out, it pretty much boils down to the 3 major record labels. We don't have to mention their names, but
You know who you are.
yeah. They're freaking out because they don't know how to control it yet. But that kind of just happened. So there's companies like Suno AI and Udio, and probably a couple more that are generative AI music creation programs that pretty much the labels bullied their way into equity by suing them for copyright infringement for supposedly training their AI on all the music that exists. So now that they, like I said, bully their way into ownership of Udio and Suno, just like they did Spotify, it's about to get crazy.
Now they got a stake on it, so.
Well, now they could easily be like, oh, that song that you did used our software solution to create your album, and we also control 90% of all the music that exists in the world. So I need 50% of your publishing royalties. And that's like really around the corner. And now they just established something where like they changed the terms of service in regards to ownership of the stuff that comes out of Suno, out of Udio. So it's like already happening. And but at the same time, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, like technology is evil. Like Rick was saying earlier, we have to use our tools.
Right.
And I feel like as long as, you know, the car's a tool, but as long as you're in the driver's seat driving, you know, at least you can control some aspect of your job security.
So what's one positive way that music artists can utilize AI that is a positive thing?
Oh my God. I mean, so many things. I mean, the first obvious being if you want to use generative AI to create music, but I mean, people are creating graphics, people are taking existing graphics and animating them. You know, I use ChatGPT for business plans. You can, if you are, you know, a writer and you're writing like a TV series, like you can do things where it's like it gives you proposed like shot angles to like, you know, give you different vantage points as a cameraman. Like there's so many different things. Like, you know, music videos were such a huge thing. People are AIing entire music videos now, where it's like, you know, everything is becoming less labor intensive. And yeah, it's a very interesting time. Things are like right now, things are changing so heavily, and we're on the.
You know, the other big one is truck drivers, bro.
Oh
Those are
man.
going away
Now,
soon.
so
Wow.
like you think about it, like most truck drivers, you only have, I think it's 11 hours or 12 hours where you have to stop.
Yeah.
Now think about it. Now, if you have a self-driving vehicle,
You don't ever have to
they
stop.
don't ever have to stop.
Yeah.
They don't ever have to stop.
How can you compete with that?
You
They're
guys
going
watch,
and going.
Is it Black Mirror, the show?
Yeah, I love that show.
The episode where like they already have all self-driving trucks.
Yeah, man.
And then somebody hijacks it because they're
But-
going to murder somebody.
But think about it. But think
Wow.
about it though. This is the scary, not scary part, but it makes the most sense in business. The biggest problem Alliance Bath, one of my business, has is insurance. Right? We have 12 technicians and we're driving vehicles. Right? I get into an accident. What happens to my insurance?
Huge problem.
Goes up. And I get into another accident next week. What happens? Goes up. Right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna start eliminating that shit to bring the insurance down.
And the car's gonna be more expensive, but the value proposition, all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I'm spending this much money on insurance and accidents versus I spend this and it lowers everything else.
Exactly. So what are we gonna do? I'm gonna drive a self-driving vehicle. Hey, you sit in the passenger seat. We're gonna get to A and B safe as possible, right? Just AI is coming, bro. And I hope that a lot of people understand, like, if you're in an industry where it's possible to come get you, you got to prepare for it now.
What about you, Ronnie? Because I know social media has already changed tremendously with AI, but there's a lot more coming into the future. I mean, you can see now, you can create an avatar of Ronnie, which is kind of not perfect right now, but 3 years from now, it's gonna be undistinguishable. And so, what do you think about how it's changed to now, and how it's gonna change it in the next 5 years?
So there's this infamous video of Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Right.
Okay, and that was just very recent. And now there's this new video that AI created, and it is down to the detail of the noodle slapping the cheek. You know, like it's in detail. And you give it another 5 years, who knows where it'll go. But what I would like to say for anyone who feels threatened by AI, we're all human. And that's where our advantage is because the very definition of AI is artificial intelligence, okay? And that intelligence is now artificial. And when we have this gift from God, okay, and I'm I'm religious, so I keep referencing my faith. But I feel like we have an advantage. And for the people who feel like they're like I said, it's a paralegal. It gives the greatest advice ever. I use ChatGPT on a daily basis, okay? But then it's a tool and an asset, I guess. But at the end of the day, you got to find, like Rick said, every building has a floor, okay? We hate ants. Okay, if there's a mouse in your fucking house, AI is not gonna remove it. No,
That's what I'm saying. There's some sectors where it doesn't bother.
Exactly.
Right now.
Right now.
But let me challenge that thought. So
Some robot comes and fucking shoots the mouse.
because at what point it becomes AI being artificial intelligence to intelligence. So in other words, if the AI gets to a point where it can create a philosophy book, poems, something that is not how it is right now. Right now, it just scrubs the internet and it kind of creates something based out of something else. But if it can create something, that
wasn't there before.
something at the level of Marcus Aurelius or something like that, where it's a unique piece of thing, at which point does it go from artificial to just intelligence? Because, I think, right, I just think about like the first phone I ever had. That was not that far. That was not that long ago. Look at what our phones can do now. So now let's look into the future 50 years from now. What does that look like?
5 years from now,
But like, yeah, not even. I remember my dad had this pager. And then like he would do like 143, and I understood what 143 was. You know what I mean? And
people watching were like, pagers, what is that?
yeah, he had like this beeper back in the day. I thought it was sick because it was on the side of his thing. And then the BlackBerry was like revolutionary. And this is like my childhood. So the fact that there's like, even like the iPhone, think about the iPhone, it started off as a brick. And nowadays, we have front and back cameras.
Yeah.
So someone who's in this new generation of, I would consider technology and science, I have a feeling that there is going to be also a point where like there's like this fight against AI, not war against it, but like, like ultimately like they're making robots. As crazy as it sounds to say robots 10 years ago, 20 years ago when I was a kid, like robots was like very Terminator-esque. Nowadays they're doing backflips. And I watch videos of Elon Musk is currently creating a robot that takes in your groceries after you pick them up. He brings them into your house. I feel like if you really want to truly innovate nowadays in this time, in this day and age, is to become adaptable. And the word adaptability, if that is a word, right? As long as you're able to adapt to what's going on, you're going to be able to grow. And our future, we have no idea what it's going to look like in 5 years. We have no idea what it's going to look like in 10. Science is greater than we think. But at the end of the day, you got to keep faith in God, man. And if you have your plan and your structure, keep to it and adapt. As things grow, you got to grow or you will get left behind.
And I'm curious, Sean, what do you think about in your business? Do you think and you feel that when it comes to AI, the people that are implementing it first get an advantage, right? Because there's so many different things. I can tell you where I work at, we're already starting to implement different AI things. You and I went out to lunch and had a conversation on AI. There's things where you can implement it and it's giving you an edge over your competition. There's maybe like, I don't want to touch that, but it's all about getting that edge over your competition.
A more practical AI conversation, I'd say AI for our business has helped us become better employees and better managers, helped us do mundane tasks quicker. And so, we've adapted to any AI platform that we can, from what we call X-ray, which is monitoring phone calls for bad activity so that we can monitor it, to, AI for QuickBooks, which basically what that does is helps us reconcile 14 bank statements in 5 minutes instead of having a controller do it for 3 days.
What was that?
QuickBooks, yeah. So QuickBooks AI is basically taking, it's taken an AI approach to doing regular accounting tasks for, and so it's definitely helped our business by far. I ask everybody not to be afraid of it, but just to make them better. So it's been a good positive thing.
So obviously AI is like the big hot topic right now, but there's other emerging technologies, just like there's always been coming up. So
There's one guy said it perfectly. He's our job right now is to manipulate AI to work better for us or to help us in business.
so we talked about AI, but there's also other emerging technologies that are coming into play. So what emerging trend do you think has the most impact on your local community businesses over the next 5 years?
I'll do this one. In the immediate future, within 5 years, I think utilizing trends is like you just said. There's people who literally are, as I've mentioned it like 3 to 4 times now, they'll make a dance video and it sell out an entire line of clothing. Let's use, for instance, Macaulay Olive, okay? You own an olive company. If I were to try to promote, or let's say even your wine company, I could name a video right now that will get 1 million views and probably convert his entire wine sales to where I do a blind taste test where all of us would wear a blindfold and we'd have 3 different, let's say a Walmart generic brand, a Costco brand, and some Macaulay brand, and we'd all would close our eyes or wear a blindfold and we would taste test that wine. I'm pretty sure with the degree of time and delicacy that they put into their wine, at least a third to a half of us, maybe even more, would consider Macaulay wine to be the better wine.
Right. If not, I'll have AI change it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's different ways to implement trends and to do things that are doing just like you said, trends, right? And it's different ways to interact with the viewers. People want to see how we're going to react. Who's going to choose the fucking Walmart one? Excuse my language. But, there's going to be like those funny moments that give human interaction that's organic. And I can name 10 other ones that are going to be able to.
Hey, there's something about the box one that just brings you back when you were broke as shit.
Yeah, right. You're like, no, I've tasted this one before. This isn't the one.
I have a question about music and the trends because I've seen this migration of like Beyonce is now into country music. Country music turns into pop, and I mean things are just seem to all of a sudden become like one genre, right? I don't know if that's the trend going forward or just people dabbling, and I think it's good personally.
Yeah.
No, I do think it's good, but I see where you're going with it, and I think technology and AI is kind of because you can take an AI app and put like a Tupac song and make it sound country.
Or like a 50s tune or something like that.
I've heard those. That's actually super good.
You prove the concept, and then real artists then go do it for real because I think it's making the expense of the trial cheaper, right? Because you're like, okay, let me try it. Let me do a little AI song and an AI video, see if it creates enough movement, and then you go create the real thing. Instead of creating something you spend all this money to produce and it didn't go anywhere.
Without the overhead.
Exactly.
Right.
But again, though, on the flip side, the AI, right? Like back to that question is, right, using AI to help your business more consistent, more efficient, right? Using the applications that they got you, right? Helping you answer the phone a little faster, responding to people on social media, responding to people sending you messages on your website, right? Like right now, we work with the AI system in Mexico that is helping us answer the phones faster, getting back to emails faster, right? It's downloading all the information. It's recording all our phone calls to be able to answer the question for them fast, right? Which is crazy, right?
Analytics.
Yeah, it's giving you all the analytics and it records everything that you're doing. It's downloading all the data to make it seem like it's part of your business already, which essentially AI is smart enough to do that.
Yeah, I think there's a big business opportunity in that for like AI consultants for brick and mortar businesses like yours and mine, where we come from a generation we don't know anything about social media, AI. So there's an opportunity for consultants to come to all these businesses to help us improve the social media, AI. Like all those ideas are great, but you don't know where to start.
Right.
So you get a young consultant that could make a business out of that to bring your business up to speed on how to use this technology. I think
There's a
that'd
lot
be a
of
niche.
businesses out there already, though, Rick. Already doing that. 100%.
Already doing that.
I'm right next
See, I didn't think of that.
They're like, hey,
See, I didn't think of that.
what am I, chopped liver?
That's
No,
funny.
well, I think this was a great segment, guys. And just to say a closing statement about this is like the way I look at AI is use it as a tool, use it to enhance what you already got going on. If you use it as a replacement for your brain, that is a problem. Use it as a tool to make you better, not make you dumber. So I think with that, we'll end the segment before we go into our last segment, take one last final little break, and then we come back and finish it off. If you could sit down with a version of yourself, you can only choose one, either the past or the future. Which one would you choose? And what is the first question you ask them?
I would go with the past and I would go down and tell him, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself now. It's time.
I like that.
100%.
What about you?
Me, I would have to go with the future just to know everything to validate everything that I'm thinking now and to ensure that I'm on the right path. Because you know, I can talk to my former self and let him know like, oh, everything is going to be okay, like you'll be all right. But at the end of the day, I got here, I'm already here, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So it's really about the future and how to traverse that investment.
Yeah, you can be like, hey, how did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. I like that answer.
I feel like I made a lot of mistakes, so I'd probably go back to the past. Just tell myself to be patient and don't be such a dick.
All right.
100%. 100%.
You should have taken that answer. Just saying.
I'd probably go to my future and then I'd go to the point where I'm basically all said and done. Like business isn't on my mind anymore. And I just ask myself if I enjoyed it and if it was like worth everything, if it was worth all the time and all the money and all the sacrifice, you know?
Right.
I picked the future as well because I already know the past. So the future, I'd ask myself, what can I do better? What do I need to fix so I don't make that mistake?
Right on. I love it. All right. So let's start.
Hit me, bro.
All right.
God.
I'll take a card.
All right. All right. So we're back in our final segment. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, for spending the time. I hope you have learned something and have something to take and put on your toolbox so that you can implement it in your life, however that is. So let's get on to it. So at some point, it stops being about the wins and the question becomes, was it worth it? So let's talk about legacy. What are you most proud of right now that has nothing to do with money?
Great question.
Come on, Rick.
Great question. So for me, it being able to provide great jobs for people. That's what I'm most proud of. When I see that I have a lot of employees that make over $200,000, $300,000 a year, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I provide not only great opportunities and great jobs for great career paths to make a lot of money. So I have people that work for me that make more than the average business owner. So to me, I'm proud of that. I want them to stay there and make a lot of money there. So it's not, it's about the money, but it's about the people. It's providing a career for them.
Right.
So
You're
to me,
changing lives.
Changing lives, yeah.
To be honest with you, I'm in a time in my life where I'm at a point where I wanted to be, and like I hoped I'd be at. And I'm ultimately glad that I became the dad that I wanted to be for my kids, because ultimately, like, my business is my personal life. So that's kind of where it's contradictory to, or whatever the word is, to a lot of other businesses, right? My daily life is my business. And I have to be really in tune with my children, because a lot of the time they don't understand that our life isn't the traditional normal life. There's a lot of sacrifices that my kids have to make because of the choices I made, and I'm proud of the dad that I became, and I want to continue to grow. So that's where I'm at with that.
So not money wise, but I say because we don't want to answer monetary things. But I think the biggest thing that gives me satisfaction is that that I built this culture that has all these little micro relationships in, and they kind of flourish on their own. And I see groups of people that work in our enterprises that have all done other things together, and so. Probably when I was younger, I wouldn't like that, but and I'm older now. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Everybody's doing their thing, and so just to know that you kind of fostered that it's pretty satisfying.
I would say at the end of the day, legacy is very attached to how many people's lives you changed and how many people's lives you impacted, and really just being of service not only to people but to your industry, whatever that may be, and just really giving back to the game. And ultimately, whether it's a relationship or a business, leaving things better than when you found it.
Ooh, that's powerful. Man, how do you follow up that one right there? Right? That was good. I like that one.
Yes, sir.
You took a lot of it from me, but what a compliment. I would add the one thing I would add to it is you hear that famous quote when it comes to sales, ABC. A lot of people is always hearing, always be closing. But this is one I recently ran into a couple of years ago, and it's always be connecting. The legacy for me is like I'm very happy that I've gotten to a point in my life where I can connect with a lot of people. Sean, Max, Ronnie, Rick, everybody in this room. I think a lot of people forget that, man, and it's so important, bro. Like instead of closing, we stay connected. Right? Because connecting with people leads you to different avenues, good doors. You meet different people, you get in different rooms. Look at where we're at right now, what we're doing, how we're doing it is because we connected. Yeah. So my legacy is like to teach my kids, man, always connect with people. Don't close it, keep that door open. We're all energy, bro. We're all electricity, we're all holding on to each other, right? And how can we help each other out? How can we give each other more? How can we give to give more, right? So I think for me, the legacy I want to leave with myself and my kids is, just always connect with people, man. Don't ever close that door. Connect.
So I'm the same kind of idea and realm of subject. And Danny, I'm curious because I've known you for 20 years. I don't know that I've asked you that question recently.
Oh, you put me on the spot, bro.
How would you define success today?
Ooh. Oh, man. That's a good question. It's a really good question. 5 years ago, it would have been a different answer. But to me, success is what Rick said, is putting myself in a position to help other families, to give to other families, to help other people, being able to live in my purpose, to give back to people, to help people, to use what God gave me the ability to really help and to inspire others. Success for me is in giving inspiration to other people around you. I've been able, of course, man, we all, like I use this one a lot. Everyone is climbing this mountain. called life. For some people, it's harder. For some people, it's sadder, right? But the point of the game is to keep moving forward, keep going up the hill. I'm in my life where I'm able to turn around and drop the rope and to help inspire people to move a little faster, do a little more, let them know they're not by themselves. To me, that's success, bro, is to inspire others to help others. I'm in that point in my life now.
I like to piggyback off that. You know, I've contemplated that question many times throughout my life, and I finally defined it for me as a successful person is a person who's truly happy. Because we all chase happiness, and what's happiness to you might be completely different to me. And what's happiness to Sean could be different. I can tell you, my mom, for instance, who owns real estate in South America, never touched a penny. She lives off Social Security. And I always told her, Mom, you have all this money. Never touched a penny of it. And she's 87 years old, never touched one penny. Her grandfather left, her dad left her. And you know what she said? That doesn't make me happy, son. Doesn't make her happy. Happiness is key. That to me, you know, it's not about money, business. If you're truly happy with yourself, your family, what you're doing, you're happy, you're successful.
100%.
That's awesome.
I like that.
Anybody else wants to jump in?
I mean, definitely like to piggyback off that. I feel like if you have a dream and that dream could fund your life, which ultimately, if you have a dream, that's part of your happiness. I mean, that's definitely the definition of success. Also, when, you know, talking about family legacy, raising more happy, well-balanced, good human beings, like, you know, raising your kids, having a great family, that's definitely a big metric for success. So definitely, yeah.
I keep referring to my kids and my family all the time. But I think truly being successful is when you're able to go out and handle things like this, like me stepping away from home, having meetings with you guys, handling business. And then I do such a great job, what I feel, and it's proven right when I go home and my kids are excited and their face lights up and they jump up and wrap their arms around me. That's truly where I know I'm being successful, is where I'm able to handle my business and in the same balance, being able to be so attentive to my family that I'm doing such a great job in my structure of things that I'm able to do both things. Like you said, going home every day and being able to eat dinner. And even if I I catch myself, I'm always calling Sean on a Saturday or Sunday. He answers, or he calls me, I answer, but we still make sure that we're still going out and we're still being attentive. And that's where I see success. And then I also want to piggyback on the philanthropy part of it, is where I stopped looking inward for my success. And when I started looking outward, and was able to, like, I created this nonprofit where we give food and groceries to underprivileged homes. And a lot of the time it's single mothers with kids, and we fill their entire pantry, we fill their refrigerators. And when I see I'll see the kids with the pictures of the groceries, man, I cry. I had to kind of like step away from the pictures of the befores because of how bad it is. Right. You know, and things like that, where I see myself doing actual change and not just saying I want to help, but actually helping. That's where I consider myself successful.
How about you, Sean?
I'm just going to go a different route because all these are really good. But myself, I will leave a 40-hour-a-week job, as well as you guys, to work 80 hours a week, to be an entrepreneur and earn freedom.
Absolutely.
We don't care if we work 8 hours a week, but we
That's
want to be free.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's where I think we overlook why we do all this, and it's really because of that.
What is a way or a cause that you like to help your community? Each one of you individually, like, is there something that you do, just like the example that you mentioned?
I think, I try to help. I'll back up a little bit. My wife wants to help everybody. She's the most loving, giving person I've ever met in my life. And on a first date, we're in San Francisco, she's driving, a homeless person. She's scrounging through the car. She gave her the $3, the only $3 that she had. I taught her, instead of giving to everybody, hold back, save your money, give to certain people that you could truly help, change their lives. And it's different. If you give somebody something that they need that will help them get a job, get housing, get an apartment, or get a house, you're changing their whole life instead of just giving them $2 or $3 to everybody. So I try to pick people I try to help. I also do it through foundations. One of my favorites is the HIF, the Housing Industry Foundation, because they help a lot of people that need homes. And here in California, there's a lot of people that need homes. But if you can find certain people that you could help, or teach them a career, teach them how to make money, teach them how to work hard. It doesn't have to be your own kids. Teach other young people how to do that. I mean, you could help them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Writing, I don't know if you're familiar with the HIF, but that is I can see you making a lot of good help there. Like,
yeah, sounds kind
the
of
HIF,
coinciding.
it goes with what you're doing.
You would love it, yeah.
How about you, Sean?
I'm a big provider. First of all, I just like to help the working poor. I like people that work and they're not making it, and that's the people that I like to help, not the people that are asking for a handout.
Right.
And I'm kind of a jerk about that with people, and people disagree with me all the time. But that's just the way I am. I'm like, if you're going to ask for a handout, then don't come to me. I mean, but if you're going to ask for something to help, kind of what you were saying, Rick. Giving them a skill or whatever, or helping somebody who is providing for themselves is, I think, what I've done the most.
Teaching people how to fish instead of just giving them a fish.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Give them a bowl.
Yep.
What I think for me, adding value to the community, giving back in whichever shape or form that you give, it's positively being a good citizen, helping others who can't help themselves, being a place of positivity, and most importantly, inspiration, bro. Try to inspire people that they need to believe in themselves and they can do whatever they put their minds to.
I think that's a powerful one. I don't remember where I read this, but I read a quote that said, you can be two things, right? You can either be a tugboat or you can be a lighthouse. So a tugboat often needs to be repaired, right? Because it's being banged against boats. You're trying to really move this giant boat that does not want to go in that direction. Or you can be a lighthouse and be bright, and when that boat is ready to go that direction, you're gonna be there. You know which direction to go to.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So, all right. So another quote. I'm bringing a lot of quotes today. So Marcus Aurelius said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." What obstacle became your advantage?
I mean, I can definitely, speak to this as from my little sector of things. I started a publishing administration company to help artists and songwriters collect on their royalties. And it took me getting robbed of my royalties and getting pissed to then say, oh, well, I'm going to fix this problem. I think a lot of great businesses are ones that solve problems. And so, but without the problem, how are you going to solve it? So literally the hurdle in my way became the way.
And that's how some of the most wealthy businesses are built, right? Like there was a problem and they
solved it.
They solved it.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to jump in on that one?
I'll jump in. Well, I think for me was I come from a very poor community where self-belief was never taught. Right? You were supposed to grow up and you're supposed to work for someone and you're supposed to be a good employee. But believing in yourself and starting your own business and having those capabilities became the problem for me. right? It was that crabs in a bucket mentality. I knew that was a problem because everybody wants you to do good, but they just don't want you to do better than them.
Oh man.
Right? But the problem was everybody was doing horrible. Right? But the very minute that I understood what I was lacking was I didn't believe in myself. And the moment that I started to believe in myself, that I was capable, that I had the heart, the hustle, the grit, the grind, the heart to do it. When I believed in myself, it was just like splitting the sea, bro. Everything came into fruition. You know, that's what I would say.
I had to say, my obstacle has been poor. Has been being poor, and I've been poor, and I've been rich, and I'm going to pick rich every time. So, period. You know, I don't care what anybody says, and that's a quote from The Wolf of Wall Street.
I love it.
Amen.
You know, I mean, that's
Amen.
that's the facts. You know, I mean, what was your obstacle was just the habitual being, you know, always needing money and being in this spiral of generational, you know, poor families and things that you've always been faced with when you're children, like a lot of us have been, especially Generation X folks. It's just been, the thing that's propelled all of us. I think we didn't, like we were talking about earlier, Rich. You know, we just don't literally, we don't want to go hungry.
No.
That was our issue back when we were younger. It wasn't anything.
Survival.
It was survival, legitly. I mean, we didn't know if we're going to be eating next week.
Need that, right?
Don't want to live like that.
Well,
Gentlemen, thank you for all the time you put in so far. I have two final questions, and I would like for all of you to answer it. The first one is a simple one. Can you all individually recommend a book that you recommend everybody should read, or is a book that you're currently reading?
Napoleon Hill, bro. Think and Grow Rich. I've read that book 3 times. I think I've listened to it 5 times. And then I get like the bullet points on YouTube 100 times, right? That book, to me, it every time I read it, every time I listen to it, I learn new things, right? This guy went around and talked to the most richest and inspiring people throughout the world at that time and interviewed them. And they all had little things in mind. They had little things in common that to me, where I come from, was unfathomable. You didn't believe in it, right? And that book has inspired me to do better, to think bigger, right? It's possible, right? Don't put a ceiling on the way you think, right? You can grow, you can do everything that's out there that's possible. Whatever this man is doing, that man is doing, you can do it if you put your mind to it and you're willing to work hard for it and you're thinking big at the same time.
Back to our other conversation we had earlier in segment, I think, too, is what to say. The book is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And if I could just put a plug in for that book, I read it about a year ago, and it impacted my life greatly. It kind of galvanized some certain things in my life, and that's, yeah.
Awesome. First, go read DNA of the Entrepreneur by Sean McCauley. You know?
Hey, clap it up, clap it
We're
up.
talking about books.
I don't plug myself. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I'll do it. So go read that book, and that'll give you a lot of breakdown between the stem cells, quite literally, of
100%.
the entrepreneur. And then something that I read that actually put me into perspective about, I have some spending habits, that I had to learn how to adjust from. So I read Profit First. And it talked to me about, once I was starting to make this influx of money, how to handle it properly, how to budget my money, in terms of when this money comes in, how to allocate for that. Especially someone who I had my first kid when I was 18 years old, and I started making money around that time, and I had to take care of someone that wasn't myself. And then, I was paying bills and things like that. I bought my first house when I was 23, trying to figure out how to do these kinds of things. That book really put into perspective how I should be going about spending the money that I'm earning. So
Nice.
Beautiful. How about you, Max?
Oh man, I'm probably the worst person to ask about this because
Good song.
yeah, good song,
That's a
good song, and
Dr. Seuss.
yeah, exactly. No,
Dr. Seuss has some great.
yeah, I mean, at the risk of like the most generic answer ever, being that I'm not much of a reading buff, but clearly need to be. I got some good reading material from these guys. Yeah, but I mean, the 48 Laws of Power was a great
That's
one.
a great book.
Just kind of like fundamentals of how to like, you know, the intangibles of kind of how to operate and kind of knowing people and stuff like that. But
That's a great good one.
yeah.
I like simple books. So for me, it's 1 Minute Manager. Can I name a couple of books?
Of course.
The 1 Minute Manager for any new manager.
He reads a book a week, is that correct?
What's that?
You one book or 2 books a week?
Oh, I read 2 or 3 books sometimes, but I read simple books. I don't read these huge books. It's simple. 1 Minute Manager, The Little Book of Yes by Jim
I have that
Collins.
one. That was great. You gave it to
Great
me.
book. And Every Business Needs Sales, Fanatical Prospecting.
That's great. Well, I'll throw a little wrench in there. And so mine, the one that is interesting because it kind of touches about
Elmo's World.
Yeah. I read that one quite a few times. So algorithms of oppression really talks about what we were talking about, the AI, and it really makes you think about how to use the algorithm in your favor instead of working for the algorithm. So great book if you haven't read it.
I gotta fucking that's on my line. I gotta read that.
I want to read Sean's book.
Yeah. Millionaire entrepreneur, man.
So this is the last question, guys.
Come on, baby. Bring it on. Let's go.
If you can travel to the past or the future, you can only choose one. Would you rather meet your ancestors or your descendants?
Would you rather what?
Meet your ancestors or your descendants? Where will you go? And what will you do and why?
That's a great
Wow.
question.
I'll start. Everything that has, I wouldn't go to the past. And even when we were talking about like our future or past selves, I probably wouldn't go to the past just because everything that they've done has led to where I'm at now. I think everyone wonders about what their future holds. And I want to know what difference, selfishly as it sounds, what difference I was able to make in my family. And so my descendants, I always wonder if I'm going to even be alive with my grandchildren, or great grandchildren. I've met my great grandmother, and I think that'd be the greatest gift to be able to see my kids.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy, So the fact that you asked that question, I've actually thought about that numerous times in my life, as odd as it sounds. I would love to see my family members 100 years from now, and if there was even stories about me, because of the things that I was able to implement, the curses that I was able to break in my family and change, did they last? Did my stories get told down to them? Did they implement those things into their life, even though they never knew me? That'd be pretty cool to me to hear or see.
That's awesome.
I'm going to go off of that because usually I'd say the future. Yeah, I always like thinking about the future. This is the one time I go in the past because I'd like to go to my ancestors and tell them what stocks to buy. because I could impact their lives.
Right.
Buy Tesla, and I'm going to tell them when. Buy Apple. I'm going to tell them when. I'll make a huge impact on their lives. Yeah. And by the time I'm bored, I'm going to be filthy rich also.
Hey, I'll give you that one.
That's a good one.
He stole it. He stole it.
All right. For you guys that had that answer, do you have another answer ready to go?
I was gonna say something very similar to that. I was gonna go back to my ancestors and be like, listen, couple words.
Write this up.
Google, Apple, Amazon, Nvidia. Remember those. Here's a couple lottery tickets. Play that.
Hey, but we all watch Back to the Future.
Exactly, you biff, yeah.
As you expect,
You know, a
Yeah.
hot tub time machine where he rewrites the songs, dude. That'd be
Oh
good.
my God. Yeah, I would write every Beatles song, every Bob Marley song, yeah.
How about you, Danny?
He took it, bro.
Yeah, that's
go
it.
back and tell him, hey, I need money. You know what I'm saying? I need some money to expedite what I'm trying to do. So do this. But
All right, Sean, what's up to you to take us home?
I wouldn't go into the future just because I just don't feel like any of us in this world in 2, 3, 4 generations from now, they're never going to remember us, guys. They're not going to. We're going to be gone. Do you remember your great grandpa? No.
Every now and then, but not really.
There might be robots. Who knows?
And so we're have a big enough ego that we think that we're going to be remembered. I would go back in the past since we're playing in fiction world right now, and I want to meet Jesus because it's like he impacted us from the time he walked for 33 years till like now. You know what I mean? It's just like that time. I mean, just to be in that time.
You're going way back.
I'm going way back. Well, you said
The ancestor.
You said ancestor. You didn't say how far, but anyway.
Great answer. With that is a wrap for the Roots on the Table, the Gamble edition. So thank you for watching the end of this video. But before that, guys, thank you for your time, the stories. You guys shared so much knowledge. I feel like I should have paid for this.
Thank you, Angel and Daniel, for putting this on.
Thank you. And thanks for all of you watching at home. We're going to be doing more stuff like this. So if you like it, you can let us know by leaving us a comment, sharing this video. So thank you. This is the Roots of Ambition. Make sure you subscribe and burn the ships, baby. Burn the ships.
It's truth, it's vision. This is the Roots of Ambition. Yeah.